Thank you. Thank you all for joining. Thank you all for stopping by, for watching. If you're here live or if you're watching on YouTube, thank you for stopping in and checking this out. My name is Greg, and we are here for our show. It always seems weird to do that because I feel like I'm talking to everybody in the chat, and most of you guys know me already. Hey, Mr. Gaming Guy. Now let's talk about Fire Emblem. That's Greg Cratcher. All right. So for anybody who's new here, and for the people that have been here so far, we're still trying to find like the identity for the show. You know what I mean? Like I don't really have a main structure. We kind of just talk about stuff that's going on. This show still doesn't have a name, and I still keep trying to land on something. I feel like I want it to be something like Rambles, because that's sort of what I do. I've for years I've always noticed that that's what I do. I start talking and then I just kind of ramble on. So I kind of wanted to be something like that. Then I was thinking like sort of like an in from a video game, like the Silver Tongue. You know what I mean? Because it's Uncle Silver, and but it's just like then I start to think, yeah, it sounds like an in a video game. It doesn't really sound like a show. Like Greg's Geek Chat or something like that, like something where Uncle Greg's basement. Welcome to my basement. You know what I mean? Like I just something that when you ramble on. And Sean, that was one of the things that I thought about it. The Silver Tongue is a good name for a pub. But yeah, I thought about ramble on, like, oh, that would be kind of cool, but I'd get copywritten every time I tried to play the intro song. Hey Ace, what's going on? So how has everybody been? It's been sort of, unfortunately, it's been another one of those weeks, which I don't really want to get into, so I won't, but it definitely has been another one of those weeks. So hopefully everybody's all right. You come in here and just sit down and we'll sort of relax and just sort of BS about nonsense. You know what? We started talking about a topic. What is the stream chat button? You have to help me out there. I don't stream chat. Oh, stream chat. Okay. So yeah, I may end up trying to use it. I thought about using this today, but I think it's all right I'm not going to worry about it today. Apparently Twitch added rooms, sort of like Discord. And so the way it works is that you can set up a room that is private. Right now, it looks like I have the ability to set up a room for subscribers only, or for moderators, anybody who's marked as a mod. So you can discuss things with your mods about any actions that you want to take or something away from everybody else. So they set that up. Yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting. I kind of wish that they could do, and I don't know if I can do it just on Discord, but like followers only, because I keep seeing stuff for subs, but I wouldn't mind doing stuff just for followers, like a follower only chat. So when people stop in, they're more interested in getting a follow going. You know what I mean? Because the subscriber chat, our subs are we're low on subs right now, so it's it's gonna be like a room with two people. Who is that? Sean and Kyrie. I think there's just a few people, which is awesome. I'm super appreciative of it. But it's just, I don't think it's enough to justify having a chat just for subscribers. You know what I mean? So I don't want to set anything up like that, but I would like to set, I think we've got enough followers where if I had something set up for just followers to jump in, it would be kind of incentive to do that. I think follower only is a command. See, I don't want to do that in this chat. I want the main Twitch chat to be everybody, anybody who stops in and wants to say hello. That's sort of the point of all of this. We get into these conversations, and I want people to just sort of be able to talk about it, for people to chime in. But then I want, that's why I wanted like the Discord for followers only. So then, if you follow, someone can give you the info or something like that, or if you follow, it automatically gives you the information. You know what I mean? So we don't have to go and keep putting it in chat. What about me? I'm not paying 100% attention. See, Sean is a subscriber. He's not even listening. Sean, we're saying that if I had like a subscribers only room, it would basically just be like 2 people just sitting there, which is awesome. It still blows my mind that happens. You know, and it still blows my mind that somebody's like, I'm going to give this person $5. Well, it's like $2 and something to listen to them talk nonsense, like, and play video games very averagely. But it's absolutely appreciated. Takes less than a second to follow. Yeah, new game, but you know what? I know that there are a lot of people who, excuse me for being absorbed in this guy. Hey, no, it's totally fine. But yeah, you know how it is. I don't like to, like, in my YouTube videos and stuff, I don't like to say, you know, like, comment, and subscribe, because you'd like to think that, well, if somebody likes it, they're going to like it. If they want to comment, they're going to comment. And if they want to follow, they're going to follow. But it's weird. A lot of people don't do that. I mean, I myself have tuned into plenty of streams and videos and stuff, and then not followed or subscribed, just because, you know, it's only the first time I've been there. I don't know if this is something that this is someone that I'm going to come back to multiple times. But there are people who I have found, oh yeah, I'm now searching out their videos and their chats and stuff, their streams. So then I follow. Oh, hey Spider, I saw you come in. Greg's chill chat, nice and relaxing chat. You don't want to put people on the spot with fire. Yeah, I don't like doing that. I don't like, and it's hardly putting people on the spot. I mean, everybody's at home by themselves. It's not like you click follow and someone's at home going, oh my God, he's talking about me. You know, it's nothing like that. It just, I don't know. I try and give people the benefit of the doubt on that. He did a special message for me. Yeah, you're all special. And I try, hey, experiment. I try and catch everybody as they come in. You know, who knows? Maybe one day we'll be so huge that it's difficult for me to get in touch with everybody. You know, to give everybody personal greetings, and you guys can be the ones that say, oh man, I remember when this show didn't even have a name, and now we're celebrating the 100th episode. No chocolate milk bottle today. Just plain old water. I'm doing the water challenge. The water challenge is you drink enough water because it's good for you, which I don't think enough people do that challenge. Who is the most special? Who is the most special? I think I know. I think I have to say that out of everybody here, the most special person. Oh, okay. I seem to have had some audio issues there, but that's okay. We'll just assume that everybody knows what was going on there. Hey, Treble. You're streaming the Splatfest tonight, tomorrow. I don't think I'm doing it tonight, but I don't think I'm doing it tonight. I may do some tomorrow, but everyone calls me Dad. Oh, yeah. Hopefully, though, that audio glitch will get fixed out when we upload to YouTube. All right, you know what? I want to continue with the conversation that we were having yesterday. We started a conversation in stream, and I'm kind of interested in what everybody Uncle Silent, what everybody was thinking about that. Just I felt like there were probably a lot of messages moving yesterday, so I couldn't read everything. Truck noises. Okay, I started a conversation yesterday about the idea of when you buy a video game, and I want to ask you guys some questions about it. When you buy a video game, you pay, we're just gonna say the regular price, $60. $60 is the mean price for games now. You know what I mean? Like that's it. 6 months, 1 year down the road, they release a special edition. Not with the DLC. No, it's sometimes with the DLC, but it might have some DLC that was paid for. You know what I mean? You buy the game for $60, and at some point they release $20 DLC. But I'm thinking more of they decide to release a special edition where it comes with a cloth map and a little statue or art book or something like that, and then they release that for $60. Do you feel like it's almost a punishment for being a loyal fan? Because a lot of the time, loyal fans, they're the ones that are going to be there day one. They're going to be purchasing the game. They're going to the midnight release or something. And then who has $60 for video games? And then 6 months from now, somebody who showed up late to the game through I can't really say through no fault of their own. Maybe they purposely avoided it in the beginning. But now they get all the cool stuff, and then if you want that cool stuff, you now have to double dip. You now have to shell out another $60 because you're a hardcore fan. So I'm curious to say new games are $80 Canadian. 60 still seems to be for those AAA games. Yeah, it's for me, Elements, it's a little uncommon for me to pay a full 60 to have something just justifiably $60. Usually those are knickknacks to get one last push from the game. Yeah, and that micro guy, that's definitely the point of them, is that, fans who still haven't jumped on yet, this is a little bit more incentive for them. But at the same time, as a hardcore fan, that's stuff that you want. So it just it feels crummy it almost soils my day one purchase. You know what I mean? When you buy a game, Batman, I know the Arkham games did this a lot, where they had DLC and stuff, Game of the Year, everybody Game of the Year edition. By the third Batman game, when you went in and you paid your $60, you had to have known by then that I don't even know why I'm paying this money, because in 6 months to a year from now, they're going to release a special edition version that's going to have all the paid DLC and everything. It's going to still be $60. So essentially I'm getting the DLC for free. All I have to do is wait. So it kind of soils your day one purchase. It's a challenge. Naturally, I don't think about it. Yeah, if you were to discover the same game a year, maybe even 6 to 9 months later, you get an additional release if you get that item. Yeah, it kind of sucks, and that's why I was curious to see. And what I wanted to ask you, we talked about this yesterday, so I talked about my thoughts on it. And I mean, essentially, those are my thoughts on it. What I wanted to ask you was, does the prospect of future paid DLC, future special editions, Game of the Year editions, does the prospect of that stop you from buying new games? Because I know tons of people that with a rare exception, don't bother buying games on day one because it feels pointless. Splatoon was a very big, if you played Splatoon 1, you knew that there were, in the beginning, there were only a few dungeons, there were only a few maps, some certain weapons and limited game modes. Over time, they released more, and it was all free DLC. So I would imagine that there were a lot of people when Splatoon 2 came out said, you know what, I'm just going to wait until there's more meat to the game. Do you do that? Is there anybody here who will actively avoid new games because they know there's going to be a Game of the Year edition, I'm just going to get it cheaper? Because personally, I tend to avoid a lot of new games just because I know that they're just going to be cheaper anyway later on. Except for Nintendo. The Nintendo games, those games hold their value, man. None of those prices drop. Some of them go up. Let's check. I mean, you'll find an edition that comes with the game later that can be purchased separate. I'm going back through the comments here. So the side discussion is if the value of it doesn't get too pricey. Yeah, and sometimes that stuff is dirt cheap, so you can go back, you can go online and buy just the statues or whatever comes out. Special edition, like a plushie and a soundtrack and whatever. But if it's like Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, where it's just see if it's just DLC, that's a little, and there's there's a cutoff point where I don't think it matters. You know, if Smash, when Smash comes out, when Smash 4 comes out for the Switch, it's going to be $60. You know, it's going to have all the DLC that everybody paid what, between $35 and $50 for on the Wii U version. But nobody's going to, I personally am not going to flinch about getting all of that stuff because it's a brand new system. You get to play it on the go. Like and it's been a long enough amount of time. But to release a special edition 6 months later, even 1 year later, it might be a little too close for people. Lack of money is why I don't buy games right away. That's a good reason. Technically, the closest sensation I've had to this is it's a shame feeling in the ports of the Switch. Oh, okay, yeah. You know, for the Switch games, the Switch ports, it feels like double dipping. The Wii U is a special case though because the Wii U sold so low. These are going to be new games for the vast majority of people who buy them in that game's lifetime. It's worth the money to ensure. Yeah, then I don't see the point. Yeah, ported to another console is a big deal. That's a game changer to me. You know, I bought Dragon Quest Heroes or Dragon Quest Builders. If I had it on the PS4, it would feel different for the Switch, especially with the Switch, because the Switch has such an amazing feature, which is to take it on the go. So that's kind of that alone right there justifies the re-release and the natural price of these games. Not just Nintendo. GTA 5. Is GTA 5 still $60? Wow. I'm waiting too much when you're sick of Dragon Quest Building. You use the game as a contest. No, I don't know. I think I'll hang on to Dragon Quest Builders for a little while. You know me, I'm a collector, so even if it's junk, it's going to sit on my shelf and it's going to look pretty on the shelf. I tend to go for slightly more niche, lower price game. Elements, I do that too. Not on purpose. It just sort of ends up happening that way. It's well over 60 in DLC that I didn't buy. You know what? The only viable is Switch version is Smash. Because I assume all the DLC elements. Yeah, they're saying the rumor is that all the DLC characters are just going to be on there. What I really want is the 3DS version had. There were the two Smash games. Remember, I think the Wii U version had Smash Tour, which stunk, and then the 3DS version I think had a better game. I want that version on the Switch. I would like both versions on the Switch, even though Smash Tour was terrible. But I would love to see them just on there, you know, as a definitive. You know, don't release new characters or anything like that. Just give me Smash 4 Definitive Edition, and what's there is there, you know, and that's it. I don't have to worry about DLC or anything. What is it? What did it end up being? 56 characters, tons of levels. Like, that game is fine. And then the level editor. And let me use my damn Mii Fighter characters online, even if it's just in a fun mode. You know, keep them out of ranked or whatever. Keep them out of For Glory, and just let me use them for fun. Top 10 best-selling games of yeah. I did see that, Spider. I did see that. Yeah, I can't believe that game is still $60. I can imagine it's still selling, but $60. Wow. Is that game even any? Is GTA 5 even any good? Because I sometimes I wonder if a lot of those games get those kind of long lives because of online content, you know, mods and stuff like that, which I don't really know if you can. I don't think you can do mods on PS4 and Xbox One, can you? I'm sorry, I don't have either system, so I'm just not familiar with them. The Mii Fighters won't be online because a bunch of aim near me stick face. Well, you know, if you've got a face that looks like it, new game, you should be allowed to name them that. Can't say I never played it. GTA 5 is really good, but I hear horror stories about the online. I miss the Miiverse. Yeah, we don't even have like a Miiverse or anything, so I guess we wouldn't even have the Miiverse stage. Yeah, I had no interest in GTA. It just, I thought GTA 1 and 2 were fun when they were the top-down games. When they switched to 3, it was okay, but 3 immediately turned into play it for a little while, and then play it for a little while, then drive around and beat people up, then drive normally, like following the law, and see how long you can go before the cops just suddenly start chasing you. One of those kids are Matt Mattelli. Actually, Greg, what is your opinion on buying the same game for different consoles? Let me ask you this, is everything the same, or is it like the Smash situation where with the Wii U and Smash is a special case. With the Wii U and the 3DS, it was essentially the same game, but one of them you could take on the go, one of them you couldn't. One of them had this version of a game, one of them had that version of a game. Are you asking about total, like the whole game is exactly the same? Again, Dragon Quest Builders, if you have it on PS4 and then buying it on the Switch, is that what you mean? Because if you mean that, I'll take the 3DS stages for the Switch. Yeah, see, I want everything on there. I want everything on the definitive edition. I used to go after special editions, but honestly, with Game of the Year versions becoming more common, scalping becoming a large issue, absolutely. Taking up space. Oh yeah, not providing you. Yeah, there's only so many collective statues and figures you can fit on your shelf. I have a number of the same game for different consoles. I don't know how many games I have that are on multiple consoles that are the same exact game, because if you're talking about they're the same game except it runs at 60 frames per second. Oh, you're talking about the Kingdom Hearts. See, yeah, that's when you start getting into the fact that it's not the exact same game. It's just that now if you're talking about, say for instance, a game comes out on PS4, Xbox One, and Switch the same day, and going out there and buying all 3 versions, I think that's a little pointless. I don't really think that there's any reason to do that. I mean, if you got the money, you can spend the money on whatever you want. Me personally, if I've got the money for 3 games, I'd rather just buy 3 different games. Hey, Mendez, how's it going? I like it when newer versions. Yeah, see, I like that. Omni, Bayonetta 1 and 2. I have no interest in buying that. I wouldn't mind owning it just for collection's sake, but I have Bayonetta 1 and 2 on the Wii U. The Switch version is supposed to be the same thing. If I have $60 to spend, I would rather just buy something else. I have double and triple dipped on the Kingdom Hearts franchise. Yeah, because Kingdom Hearts doesn't Kingdom Hearts have the original version and then a PS3 and then a PS4 version or something? I got a game I already own for a different console to make use of the controller. See, that's interesting, Mambo. See, I would consider that a different feature. Yeah, I think everyone double dips on those Kingdom Hearts games. I didn't because I don't have I have a PS3 now, so I could, but it was all the ports. I sold all my games for the Wii U. Yeah, that Michael guy, okay, so here's a question. Do you consider that double dipping? Because you're getting rid of the original game that you have. You're selling your Bayonetta 1 and 2 for the Wii U, so you don't have it anymore. So you're buying it again. That's tricky. That's where you start to, is that actually, obviously it's double dipping in the sense that you've played it before, but you will not own multiple copies. So it's kind of interesting. Sonic Heroes, pretty much the same for me. Yeah, so I think the consensus on that is that as long as it's an upgrade to the game, I think that that's a consensus on that. But excuse me, I just made a weird involuntary noise, and I don't think the mic picked it up, but if it did, that was weird. Buying Wii U ports is a bit of a special case for me because I put the Wii U. Yeah, Omni, my Wii U is still out and plugged up because it has my Netflix on it, and that it has my Netflix and my Crunchyroll. So that's the easiest way to watch those 2 things. Once those two things, see, I don't even know if they hit the Switch. I don't even know if I'll bother with them then. If for whatever reason I end up getting a PS4, I think PS4 has both of those functions on it. I'll do that. Speaking of remasters, I'm interested in these Spyro remasters because I've never played Spyro. I never played all the way. I don't even own them, and so this is actually a good chance. I feel like I'm one of the better customers for that. I think that when you remaster something that's been gone for a long time, I think that one of the best things about that is that an entirely new generation of players is going to get to play it. Even though I was there when the first one came out, I just didn't play it. Where does double dipping lie with Shovel Knight? Yeah, Shovel Knight's a good one. Shovel Knight's a one where you're double dipping and you're just getting the same game with all the DLC and stuff. But again, with the Switch, you get to take it on the go. That right there is its own feature. That's why when people are complaining about these Wii U ports, and I have no problem with it because at the very least, I can take these, even if I had them before, I can take them on the go. That's awesome. Bayonetta is just something that I have no interest in taking on the go. But something like, if there was, when Animal Crossing finally comes out, I'll be playing the heck out of that. And I'll appreciate having it on the go. Because I've been hearing a lot about that, where everybody's so happy that you can take this game on the go and you can take that game on the go, and it's so great. But there are some games that first-person shooters, I have no interest in playing them on the go. Splatoon, I need to have an internet connection in order to play the bulk of the game, so there's really no point in me having it on the go. Dark Souls been taking. Yeah, Mendez, Dark Souls. Dark Souls on the toilet is probably the place to play it. Although I'd probably recommend a horror game when you're in the bathroom, because you're going to crap yourself for something happening. That's the place to be. And I still occasionally play Smash Bros. Okay. Import PS2. Okay. Yeah. Just going back, I'll stop every once in a while, go back and try and read the comments. Like I said, once I start to ramble and I get going, I just stop paying attention to that. Played the series. Yeah, and that's mine is frozen. That's the best feature about them, is that other people get to play them who haven't played them before. But people are complaining that ports are coming out of games that came out a couple of years ago and they could have played it already. But it's the Wii U. If you owned a Wii U, congratulations. You're one of a small percentage of gamers, really. Out of however many gamers they say there are, to have only sold 15 million systems worldwide, that's not a lot. Ports for the Switch. Let's see. Back, heard from the distance. Aside from the Wii U games that are fixed, I know my Wii U will definitely be active when DLC. Yeah, there we go. Uncle Greg streamed. If I streamed Animal Crossing, I would probably just never stop. Oh my god. There's a healthy amount of horror, fortunately. Oh yeah. I could go for some, and I'm not even a horror game fan. I could go for some more horror. Considering the Switch already is out. Yeah, it already outsold the Wii U. That's amazing. Oh yeah, Sage is walking by from time to time. I have to adjust my setup to do. Where is Cat? He left the room. I have to adjust my setup in order to do the IRL streams. So the space where he normally sits on the desk is not available. He'll be back. He'll stop in. No question to that. I got FE today and I'm loving it. Mendez, you might need to be clear. That is FE and not Fire Emblem. Is that correct? Because I saw that the game. I haven't watched any videos for it. Animal Crossing streaming. Where do these weeds keep coming from? Well, no, mine is frozen. I had the beautification ordinance on my town on the 3DS, so I could load up my game right now, and I've probably got 4 or 5 weeds at the most. Hello, kitty. You know, it's not Hello Kitty. It's hi cat. That's my boy. Oh man, yeah. I don't know. It's the port thing. I don't have a problem with. I don't feel like they're drawing resources from other games, so I'm okay with the ports. And yeah, as long as new people get to play them, I'm good with that. I like the beautiful ordinance. Yeah, it's the only good one. Yeah, it's weird that Animal Crossing is probably the closest thing to a sandbox game that really appeals to me. And I think it's because there are goals if you just choose to follow them. But I played so much of it that works perfectly on the go for me. You know, I love being able to take that to work and play that on the go. Thought I felt Sage, but he's not here. So either I'm at the beginning part of a horror movie, or I'm just feeling things at this point. Corrupt post-apocalyptic world. Yeah, I'm always worried that my GameCube memories they're just sitting in there. Like, where is he? We used to say that when you deleted a town, because they cry. They're on the thing like, you're gonna delete us. So we used to say that we were dropping a tactical nuke on the town. And it was kind of sad, but it was nice to know they're not suffering anymore. I was really looking forward to it. Found it interesting. I do wonder about the 3DS's future. I think it needs to go. I think it's time for the 3DS. I think that the Switch is a viable successor to the 3DS. I think it needs to go, but not tomorrow. You know, wean it out. I think and they might have one. Obviously, we the consumer don't know this information, but I feel like they have to have a cutoff date of first party games they're developing, where they're going to say, this is the last game. You know, even if it's a year from now, I think beyond a year from now, you're starting to drag out something that doesn't need to be dragged out anymore. It's one thing if your current console is a home console only, but because the Switch can be taken on the go, it has become a viable successor. I have no interest in playing my 3DS anymore because I don't like looking at the small screen, when I could buy Switch games and have a much better screen, and then when I'm home, I have the option to put them on my TV. It's this ironically enough, the Switch has everybody was worried that the Switch's gimmick was going to feel gimmicky, but instead it feels like such a natural progression to the life of a video game system that it's kind of screwing up the whole industry. You know, there doesn't need to be a handheld market anymore because your handheld is also your home console, and I guess it was their intention, but it's kind of working. All right, I'm gonna go. All right, Mendez, have a good one. Mendez, I will most likely be posting all of this on YouTube, so you should still be able to catch it. The Switch is more powerful than the 3DS. Yeah, it everything about it is better than the 3DS, and you can still take it on the go. Yeah, but Bayo 3 needs to be announced at the same time. Just ports would have been Elements, I love that they did that when they talked about the ports of 1 and 2, and he said, you know, we're not here just for some ports. And then they showed the super quick teaser for 3, which I have no problem with. If I didn't have a problem with the Metroid 4 reveal, I'm not going to have a problem with the Bayonetta 3 reveal. Although I was sort of waiting on a, what is it called? Bated breath. Like, is he going to say Bayonetta 3? It's impossible to play Mario Kart 7. Yeah, it really is. Well, I think it's actually impossible to play Mario Kart 7. Didn't they shut down the servers for that? I think the Switch just Mr. Gaming Guy, I've thought about that. It's a little tricky because the 3DS ports, the 3DS games use the dual screen, but I think it's possible, and I think it really should be done. On a side note, does anyone else turn off vibration? Ace Omni, I turn off vibration for the Switch. I don't like it. In handheld mode, yeah, I don't like it. I don't like the idea that the vibration is shaking my screen, even though it's minor, it's microscopic, but I don't like the whole concept of it. Oh wait, I want to respond to that because I agree with the gimmick. In short, we were fearful. Yeah, we were fearful of something different, and concerned that Nintendo were doing something, and they always do it, and they've done it before. I mean, it started. See, a lot of people think that it started with the Wii, but I think that crazy looking controller for the GameCube was a gimmick. It was a wild looking controller, and I remember when the N64 was the first one that felt like a gimmicky controller, but it worked. And then the GameCube controller felt weird and gimmicky, and it worked. And the Wii had its motion controls, and it worked. The Wii U was the first one that had a main gimmick that just was not happening. It just was not interesting at all, and it ruined it. Along with bad marketing, but that's a whole nother show. Greg doesn't like the inbuilt vibrator. Yeah, I prefer to use an external. So let's see here. Hey, Aqua Sakura. We were just talking about if it's time for the 3DS to go. You know us. We flip flop from topic to topic here. And if it's done correctly, of course, as long as the games don't as long as the games don't focus on any sort of touchscreen gimmicks. I think that was my biggest problem with the Wii U, is that the gimmicks requires you to look away from the TV onto the smaller screen, and that kind of defeated the purpose of having a game that goes on the TV. GameCube controller. They saw Bop It and said we can make this work. Yeah, and I remember when it first came out, I worked at a game store when it was coming out. And I thought, what in the world is this crazy controller? And sure enough, when I held it, I thought, this is an awesome controller. Be right back. Switch is causing memory leaks. Yeah, I know. My poor laptop, feels like it's going to burst into flames whenever I do these streams. Like you said, it's tricky, but I believe it can be done. Nintendo always loves gimmick. Yeah, the Super Nintendo and the Nintendo were as close to plain systems as you can get. But it was so early in the video game cycle, the life of video games, that I don't feel like they had so much of an identity that felt like the norm. You know what I mean? We had been dealing with gimmicky what we would consider gimmicky controllers for the entire life of video games up until that. Craig, like external vibrators, pass it on. Yeah. Well, here's the thing, Ace Omni. I don't consider those gimmicks. I consider those peripherals, because they were not necessary to play all the game. They didn't release for the N64. They didn't release a regular looking controller and then the crazy controller. The crazy controller was the one that you got. For the GameCube, their controller was the one that you got. The Wii was motion controls. Some games didn't use the motion controls, but you still use their motion controller. Those are gimmicks to me. That's something that is wired into the game, and you have to play it that way. The stuff like light gun games, Rob the Robot, the Power Pad, they're just peripherals. You don't have to use them. You don't have to play the games that work with them. So that's different. That turns out to be a different thing. Probably, everybody knows their worst gimmick was the Virtual Boy. And it's funny because that's such a failure that people don't even call it. They don't even line it up with their failure. When they talk about how Nintendo has been failing the community, and Nintendo needs to stop doing this and go third party. No one ever bothers with the Virtual Boy, because everybody knows that even Nintendo thinks, okay, this was a mistake. We're sorry. I got quite a lot out of the way. I like it in the sense that I think the problem with the gamepad is just that it confused a lot of people in the beginning. Plus, I don't like the fact that certain features with it. I don't like the fact that when you're watching Netflix, the screen has to be on, so it's draining the power of the gamepad, so it has to be on the whole time. Personally, I'm fine with the 3DS, but I understand it's time is coming which the 3DS is no longer needed. For me, just I'm going back and forth here, and I hate that it's like it's dragging behind so much. People were treating the Switch like a console, so they would say, "I have and then the Switch got pretty hot, which I mind is frozen. I think that is something that they should have. That they should have dealt with. They should have realized that video gamers sometimes they play video games for hours at a time and it gets hot. But I've had long marathons with the Switch and the dock, and I've never had a problem. I mean, I know that it can happen. I hadn't seen it happen. I mean, thank God. I would be pretty upset if that happened in the first year of the life of my system broke because I like it so much. But I play it more outside of the dock anyway. What if they ported Virtual Boy games to the N64? Oh boy, those games. Those games were so. I mean, that system was 100% gimmick. So there's no way they would not bother doing that. Although I think a couple of those games probably deserve to come out on something else. What was there was a shooter that came out. Oh man, Vertical Force. Vertical Force came out, which essentially, if you've ever played the Saturn Layer Section, or there was a game called Layer Section, I think it was Japanese Saturn, and it might have been Japanese PlayStation, but it came out on the American Saturn as Galactic Attack. It was called Layer Section, where there was supposed to be like a background layer that you can attack also. That's sort of what Vertical Force was like. That's a great game. That game should have been recolored or colored and put onto a regular system. GameCube could have had this version controller instead. Let's take a look. Let's go ahead and take a look at that controller. Ooh, see, that's a nice controller. Who's that? Experiment. Yeah, that's a nice controller there. The Switch was the first console I bought on launch. All right, so let's Wario's Tennis. Yeah, Wario's Tennis was meant to be good. Oh, and welcome back, Spider. I saw that you were back. All right. Give me 1 second here. We're gonna take a quick break, and then we will be back. We'll either continue this or we'll find something else. So just give me a couple minutes, and we'll be right back. We're back from commercial break. Well, if when I upload this, I'll add like a fake commercial or something that I shoot myself. It'll be a commercial for duct tape or something. Still bugs me that they didn't put a Z button on the side. You know what, you guys, this actually leads into a good conversation, so I wouldn't mind I wouldn't mind switching up. I need less dramatic away. Yeah, it starts out really cool, and then it gets into it's all intense. Fake ads. When I hear the story of the time I met Johnny. Oh God, flex tape commercial. No, you guys have you have a good topic there actually. What are some of the weirdest controllers you've ever used? I've used some pretty weird controllers, and did you like it? I think that's one thing. I think that's one thing that happens where people, I've used this weird thing or I've seen that weird thing, but you don't actually question whether or not you like it, because the N64 controller always caught a lot of flack for being weird looking, but I thought it was an incredible controller. You know, everybody jokes about you need 3 hands, but really you don't. Most of the games use the center, I don't know, phallus, the rod in the middle. You know, they grab the center penis and then the penis on the right, and then the left one just sort of hung there. Film yourself using a shake weight and put that. But yeah, have you? What is some of the weird? I only use first party controller. Oh, yeah, I've used some pretty weird controllers. The weirdest controller I found in N64 off-brand N64 controller and off-brand PS2 controller. Oh well, I just mean any one of them. Look at Discord. I put a recommendation. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I'm not gonna play anything right now because I don't want the music to come through and then screw up the whole. Again, if I put this up when I put this up on YouTube, I don't want to. I actually need to cut the be right back thing. I get that muted and I get restricted every time. I get copywritten every time I upload a video that has that break in there. The giant, what is that? Xbox controller for the original. Oh God, which one was that one? I've used Mad Catch pretty much. Oh yeah, because I've used they used to make this big boomerang controller for the PlayStation, which was ungodly uncomfortable. It was about this big, and most of it was plastic that hung around the bottom of your hands, and it was terrible. I've used that Steel Battalion. If you've ever seen a Steel Battalion controller, controller it was essentially a control panel. It was a 3-section with like 2 control sticks, foot pedals and stuff. It was like a mech game, which was very, very cool. Elements. Hold on. You mean the original Xbox controller? Yeah. The Duke is what they call that. That controller is terrible. I don't know why they remade that controller. There was for PlayStation 1, it was called the Freedom Pro controller, which was the left and right sections of a PlayStation controller, and then the middle was just a plastic like a junction. So you snap them onto the middle, but you could separate them and then have them one in each hand. And it was a PlayStation controller if you broke it in half. And it was the left and right. That was a little less comfortable than I was expecting. It was all right though. They also made I think they made this for the Super Nintendo also, a one-handed controller that all the buttons will function on one hand, and it was supposed to be for I don't know if I would say like mouse PC type games, but I think they considered it for RPGs because RPGs weren't action based. They were usually, for the most part, RPGs are menu based. So it was kind of like that, and it worked very well. It actually worked it did exactly what it was supposed to do. There's not a whole, other than games like Final Fantasy VI where you play a Sabin and you need to do button inputs and stuff. It actually worked really well. Where's D-pad? Oh, which hold on, experiment. Which controller was that? Which controller had the worst D-pad? The Amiga. I've seen that controller. It's a shame because it's a good looking controller. My issue is that the D-pad looks up and down rather than up and down. It kind of looks like up and down where it's on an angle, and I don't like that. That's disorienting to me. I used to have a problem playing Qbert in the arcade because my mind wasn't set on the idea that I was going in diagonals and not up and down, left and right. The Mad Catz. Okay. Yeah, I'd have to say one of the worst controllers I've ever seen was the Philips CDI controller. CDI controller. Yeah, I think that's probably the worst controller I've ever seen. The sideways controller is fine, but I think it originally came with one of those one-handed controllers. That's a kind of bad looking controller. That and the you know what else I didn't like, and I know people loved it, man. The Neo Geo CD joystick controller that had it was like the Neo Geo Pocket did the same thing where instead of a D-pad, it was like a raised stick, and I didn't like that. I didn't feel that it functioned very well. It's a singular disc. Oh yeah. What was the one that was like a spoon? Yeah, there's the one that looked like a big spoon for the CDI. Ever used an original PS? Oh, of course I've used an original PS1 before the DualShock. Kind of like a square circular Saturn controller. Now the Saturn controller was one of my favorite controllers of all time. Not the first one, the second one. There's the one that's sort of like the half moon shape, and then there was the one that came after that. That's one of my favorite controllers of all times. Nice cross pad, 6 buttons on the front. That's a good controller. Is this the one-handed controller? No, that is not a one-handed controller. That is Experiment in that picture. Experiment linked the picture. The picture is of the Capcom fighting controller That is the Super Famicom version. I have this controller for the 3DO. And that's a weird controller because it's like you hold the joystick and everything like this, but then where the buttons are, it's not like this. It's tilted. So you hold it like this. Can you see it? I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, that's a weird controller. I have to remember, I may actually just download some of these pictures and then just put them into the video. Power Glove was a great controller. I like the Power. Its sensor was terrible, but Power Glove was ahead of its time, which is what you always say about things that are crap, but you like them. That's always a way to say it. Hey, it was just ahead of its time. The Saturn controller's D-pad is. I love that D-pad. And again, it's Mambo. It's the second one. The micro switch stick. Yeah. Okay. Which experiment is that? The Neo Geo controller, the micro switch stick. Is that what that is? Retry the Power Glove. Yeah. No. If you want to talk bad gloves. Oh, you know what? And somebody's just said worst peripheral. These might actually tie in together. The PlayStation did a glove attachment that it was like a flat surface, almost like if you broke your arm, and then they put the cast, and then the cast has that wooden that thing inside, but then that had the buttons on it, and then right here was the cross pad. That was horrible. That was probably one of the worst. Does that even count as a peripheral? I mean, I guess it's how you define peripheral. As a controller, it was a nightmare. Yeah, there you go, Elements. The glove controller. Oh, it sounds super. Oh, hold on. Give me 1 second. I have one. Hold on. As I knock everything over. Yeah, I have one. Yeah, this thing, oh God, it's so awful. Worst peripheral I had was a dumb plastic Wii U. Yeah, I don't even know if that does that even count as a peripheral? That's just plastic nonsense. Oh yeah, okay, we'll just drop it. I'm not too worried about the condition of that box. Please share. Yeah, this is it. There's the. Let me get the wire out of the way. Yeah, this is their. I don't know what the heck this was supposed to be. Are you saying that this is a Saturn controller? You do or don't? Oh, Mambo. Yeah, that's the one that I love. I love that controller. So how would one use the Power Glove to play game? Well, the Power Glove had a sensor. It was a sensor array. Like it was a 2-rod thing that you put on the corner of your television set, and then those sensors would read what the controller was doing. This atrocity, on the other hand, because it's literally on the other hand, I don't even know if I could get it to fit. Here, hold on. It looks like you have a broken arm. It looks like a bootleg Power Glove. I'm like, I don't. It doesn't even fit me anymore. Like, oh God. This is what happens when you get older, and then you try and this is me trying to sit on a big wheel again. It looks like I have a broken arm. Yeah, that's the one I had. Yeah. Oh God, it's so bad. And it's me. Anyone interested in buying Wii plastic? Asking for a friend. Oh. The shoulder didn't Saturn have shoulder buttons? No. The Saturn had shoulder buttons all the time. Mechanical derp. It's just so like, and it was one-handed. If you were a lefty, you're screwed. Because this was not adjustable or anything. Oh yeah, it's so awkward even on my hand. We need to do a stream one day of just playing games with this. Yeah, because look, this is a controller also. See, like you hold it like this, and then you actually do this, and then this is a control function here. This is your cross pad, because these are the shoulder buttons. This is L1, R1, blah 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 blah. And then these are your buttons here. Oh, it's so weird. And of course, since I'm so big, I'm cutting out the circulation of my hand. Yeah, this is probably, I think this is probably one of the worst controllers that was ever made. Just because it's not official, is it? Is it official? Oh god, I think it. No. It's Reality Quest is the company. For me, oh, thank you, Indigo. I'm so big. Yeah, like it's Reality Quest is the name on the box, but it looks like it's officially licensed. I mean, there's the logo and everything. This is as best I can tell, that's an officially licensed controller. And remember this D-pad. Let's see here. Wow, that's a sharp looking controller there. Like a sideways remote controller for the Commodore. If you only have one hand, well, Yvonne, that's kind of the. If you only have one hand, you go for the one-handed. You go for the one-handed RPG controller. I think that's what it was called too. I think it was called the RPG one-handed controller. No, hold on. I don't think. I mean, I guess it's. Oh, here it is. Here it is. How do I? Let's see here. I haven't. It's been forever since I put anything up on. Discord. The ASCII grip. Okay, for anybody looking, it's called the ASCII grip. So let's see here. Let's save. Yeah, if you do a search, if somebody can do a search for me for the ASCII grip controller, that's the one that I'm talking about. The one-handed RPG controller. ASCII. Best to use for hentai games and web surfing questionable websites. Wow, what the heck? Okay, now of course my friggin' cancel. There, man. My Windows got all messed up. Yeah, ASCII. Yeah, the ASCII grip. It was a one-handed controller that was supposed to be for. I think they were trying to market it towards RPGs because RPGs and strategy games are the only ones that can use a single-handed controller. No, that's not it. Wow, that's the ASCII grip version 2. Wow, that actually looks like a Wii nunchuck, doesn't it? Or was this for the PS3? Was this after the Wii came out? Wow, there's a lawsuit right there waiting to happen. Yes, that's it right there. Mambo, it's that second one that you posted. Yeah, that first one is very literally a nunchuck. I go to Hentai Haven for the articles. Yes, that's where I learned about all these one-handed controllers, Ace. That's also where I order all my snack foods from there. Generally, it's a small popcorn and a large butter. I'm literally looking at the image right now. Take the Master System controller, looked at the NES and Jaguar. I can do that. Now the Jaguar pad was another one that's I don't know. We'll call it ahead of its time. Although it was very much not. Poor Jaguar, man. Do you have any plug and play games? I don't have. No. Yes, I do. Flipnote. I have the plug and play Atari. The 5th version, I think. It's got 72 games on it. I think that's about it, though. Oh, and the SNES Classic. That counts as a plug and play machine. That second controller looks like something from Star Trek. Yes, but it's so glorious. Wasn't there a balance board kind of thing? Oh, yeah, Mambo, you're talking about... Oh, man. The Interactor? No, that was the vest. Sega Genesis. Yeah, there was the balance board. It was like the ball or something. Sega Genesis controller ball. Stand. Yeah, there was something like that. Which of course I can't find right now. But there was like the Interactor. There was a Sega Genesis Interactor. The Interactor was the vest. The Interactor was a wearable vest. And it was essentially a speaker that you wore. But I always wanted that. What do I think about Cuphead? Yeah, I'm trying to think of and then there was the activator. The activator, I have one, was an octagon that you put together on the floor, and then it detected your movements inside the octagon. So it might have been a great UFC game if it came out nowadays. Is this that I found? Wow, I don't know what that is. Elements, I don't know what that controller is. I saw it at Play and Trade. No, it exists. I just don't know what it is. But yeah, I mean, controllers have come a long way, and there have been a lot of missteps. But I think that we're in a good place now. I think that we're in a place where we're comfortable. At this point, we know what works and we know what doesn't. So there shouldn't be anybody trying anything too silly. Okay. Hi Greg, I'm curious what you think about Cuphead. I've yet to play it, by the way. I've yet to play Cuphead. I want to. I just haven't put the money out for it. I'm going to eventually. I know that I'm going to. I was holding out to see if a Switch version came out, which they have admitted that the Switch version is not coming out, but we'll see what happens. It's a baby Super NES pad. Yeah, I kind of want to keep going with this controller talk because it's just too weird. Some of the stuff that have come out. Yeah, I know there was the heart rate monitor. There's a blood glucose monitor for the DS that is not actually expensive. They're not expensive at all. It was supposed to be. Nintendo has been from the beginning. Nintendo has been trying to do this thing where they want to integrate the video game systems into life. The Satellaview, I think, had some sort of program for you to track your home finances, and I think there were some carts. There were some games that came out games is kind of a wrong word to use, but they came out, and that was their point. Was they were just like banking software and stuff. So Nintendo's always been trying to do that. But then the DS had a blood glucose monitor. The Wii and the Super Nintendo had an exercise bike. The Excitainment or Exertainment, I think it was called. They're kind of uncommon. I know the Wii bike is very, very hard to get. I've seen the Super Nintendo bike a few times, but I think there's a Speed Racer game that's difficult to get for it. The Joy-Con. And the funny thing is that some of these worked. Just a full, yeah, it's Squeak. It's a full-on exercise bike. It is you sit on it and you play the game, and that's how it works. It had the Excitainment bike, I think, had a dock for you to put the Super Nintendo on, and then you needed the controller to sift through the menus and stuff, but then playing the game required you to cycle. N64 capture. Yeah, I remember seeing that capture cartridge. Actually, no, wait. The N64 capture cartridge for the DD. I don't think I remember that. I don't remember seeing that. Anyone ever own a Super Scope? Indigo, I own a Super Scope. It's all right. I mean, it's shoulder fired fun from the people that brought you the light gun, the Zapper. I like it better than the Menacer. I did like it better than the Menacer, although actually now No, in hindsight, I like the Menacer better. I like the Menacer better because that was the Sega Genesis. It was like the handgun, but then it had the attachments so you can shoulder fire and stuff like that. But I like the Menacer gun because you could take everything off and have just a handgun, and it actually looked. If you played Halo, it looked a lot like the needle gun from Halo. What about the SingStar mics for the PS1? I haven't seen an iToy in a while, but I see the microphones all the time at the Goodwill store. It's a good concept. I think they just like the Guitar Hero stuff, like the band, like Rock Band stuff. I think they just ran it into the ground way too fast. Here's the bike for the Super Nintendo. All right, so he's got, yeah, that's the Excitainment. Exertainment is the bike. You know what sucks? Somebody around where I live, maybe a year ago, had one, and they were advertising it on Craigslist. They never got back to me about the price though, and they had a price on it. I wanted to see if they wanted to go lower because it was missing a lot of stuff, but they never got back to me. I'm guessing they sold it. Yeah, there's another bike for the Wii. The Wii had its own bike too. Yeah, I mean, those are some of the craziest ones. I got gifted an iToy and SingStar. iToy was better than... Really? Was iToy better than Kinect? What the whole... That's a cracked article, so for all, Mambo, so for all we know, they made that up. That reminded me of the U.S. military had an exclusive add-on. Oh my god. It's... Some of these controllers just they get so wild, man, and it's so fun, but they had to make some of these things and realize I felt like they made the exercise bike and looked at each other, we're standing around the boardroom looking at each other going, no one's gonna buy this. PC Flight Sim. Lizard, I'm sorry to hear that. Lizard, sit down for a little while, take a load off your feet and ankles, and listen to the rest of the stream that we got going here. It looks legit. Thoughts on early concept of controller design? Specific controllers or just... I've seen concept art for controllers and systems, and I like that. I always get a big kick out of that. I would love to see a company that does controller design concepts and let people vote on them. Looks legit. Yeah. Yeah, Mambo, that picture looks completely legit. That's for playing those physics-based games where you're trying to run your character. You know what I mean? Like Octodad and stuff. God, what did I do? Also, the NES is the greatest Nintendo system. Well, the NES is the greatest. Yeah, the Super NES is Nintendo's greatest system, in my opinion. It is probably the most influential, and I would probably say, although it might not be fair to say, other than PS1 to PS2, Nintendo to Super Nintendo was probably the biggest jump in game quality. Here's the banana. Here's the banana. Here's the banana. Oh, wait. Hold on. I got a picture of something else. Yeah, I don't think that. Or unless it's in there. Oh, God. There goes the banana. Oh, boy. I don't even want to know what that game's about. Oh, man. I'll tell you what I miss. Arcade guns. I do miss arcade guns. There were so many cool... Like the silent scope that had the mounted rifle. Of course, some of that stuff nowadays is questionable. One of my favorite arcade games that I ever played was, and I only played it for maybe 2 or 3 minutes, and I know that I would play this game all the time if I had access to it. Was if anybody ever played the Taiko drum games, the full arcade size machines for the Taiko drummers, so ridiculously fun. I have a blast with that. And then I found out that you can get them for the home, but obviously they're not as big. I want one of those so bad. I want to play all of those games. That could be one of my favorite weird controllers, is the big Taiko drum. The SNES has the most of my favorite games. Time Crisis light gun. Yeah, the Time Crisis guns were the gun con, what they were called. They were high quality. Nothing questionable about that banana. So did that 600 character link. No, that I accidentally posted earlier show up. I don't think it showed up for me. I think there was one for PS3 now. Elements, is that the taiko drum? Is that what you're talking about? Because I want one if that's what you're talking about. Oh, the GameCube bongos. GameCube bongos were nice instrument. The instrument-based controllers are where you start to. I didn't like the Rock Band stuff. I just thought it was, and again, there was just too much of it. Guitar Hero was nice. I tried to play it, and I am a rhythmless husk when it comes to. I'm a rhythmless husk when it comes to playing all those games, the Beat Mania games and stuff with the DJ controller. I'm terrible with that stuff. We were spared. Okay, apparently we saw something. Oh, there's a light gun for the PS3. Yeah, I think we're past. I honestly think we're past that though, which is a shame because they were fun. There's no reason we shouldn't be. What I want are more taiko drum games, and a full size taiko drum to play it on. The Rock Band stuff was cheap, and I think that was the problem. Ace is that physically a lot of that stuff just felt like junk. You know, even the Guitar Hero controllers, they kind of felt like junk. You know, and now they're lining the shelves of everybody's Goodwill store. That and the Wii balance board, I have 2 of them, and they just sit there. I don't even know why. I think one of them I bought because it had the box and everything, and then the other one I got in a lot with other stuff. Hang on one second. Spare you guys the grossness. I still need a Wii U balance board. I got extra. You're welcome to it. I'm pretty sure I've got extras of the game too. And after a while, the Rock Band stuff just takes up too much. Yeah, it just takes up a lot of space. Careful with the Google image. Oh boy. Do you have any PC? Do I have any PC flight sticks? No, I don't have any PC flight sticks. My PC was never up to snuff for playing games, so I never had one. I have the joystick, the flight looking stick for the NES, which I've used to play Top Gun, and I used to be really good with that. But you have to be like training for that. Second demo, Indigo, second demo of the day. We're on the move then. We're on the rise, aren't we? Isn't that how you know you've made it on YouTube and Twitch and everything when you start getting trolls? I love it. I mean, I don't love it, but I would rather they hang out and support and join the conversation. But hey, we have situations. Yeah, that's why I'm trying not to. I'm trying not to have a lot of links and stuff in the chat. I'm trying to keep that. I don't mind that you guys are doing that. I try to keep it towards Discord, just because I don't know where especially with new people showing up, I don't know where those links go, and yeah, I don't mind posting that stuff here. Hot girl just twerking on Twitch. Mambo, I am the opposite of pretty much every word in that sentence except for the word Twitch. I've got one flight stick for the PC, useful for Flight Simulator, and also Grim Fandango. Oh, because of tank controls. I guess that works then. Yeah, for tank controls, that sounds kind of interesting. Because there are a lot of games that are character based, but they use tank controls. So I'm kind of curious to see how that works. Should we stick the controller links in Discord from now on? I mean, you can. I'm not too concerned. Have you not seen that spam bot? Which one? Are you talking about someone in the chat right now? In the chat with us? I went to the bathroom and got lost. What's happening? We're still blabbing on about controllers because that's how we do things here. Yeah, I guess that's the spam bot. Yeah, Oh, the hot girl twerking in Twitch bot. Oh no, I have not seen that. No, we're not there yet, Mambo. We'll one day we'll be famous enough to have to be concerned with that. I don't mind the dumbass trolls too much. At least I get to do mod things. Oh, that N64 steering wheel controller is great. I think that they made a few of those for different systems. Here's a weird controller. Was the Negcon for the PlayStation 1? It was a controller that twists. In the middle, it was connected and it would twist, and you played racing games that way. Greg tweaking on Twitch. Greg tweaking on Twitch sounds horrible. I'm assuming you meant twerking on Twitch, but that also sounds horrible. Yeah, I think it was called the NEGCon. NEG Con. Let me switch still yet. Deny. For cruising the world, anyways. Yeah, cruising the world. How you spelling that, Greg? Oh. It's kind of fun to play other games. Yeah, and I think that's the thing. I think that's the gag with this controller, is that there's no real purpose for it. So the joke is trying to use it on anything. And what's the thing? Wasn't there somebody that had hey Nick, her, which we're gonna say your name very clearly. We'll just call you Nick. Yeah, it like using the bongos to play other games and stuff like that. Yeah, but this is National Troll Day. I think it is, Indigo. You know what it is, Indigo? I make the joke that we're not big and that we're getting big, so we get trolls. But I think the problem is that we're so small that trolls, the bigger channels are starting to really stamp out trolling. Yes, I did, Nick. I did say Nick, her. Yeah, that's super close, isn't it? But notice how I stressed everything. A lot of amiibo scanning. The party game that's surprisingly good. SpongeBob Lights Camera Pants. Did not play it. SpongeBob games. Yeah, there goes the Negcon controller there. Unless one person has 4 separate accounts and keeps coming back. Indigo. People do it, man. People do it. Yeah, that's the controller there. Either way, I enjoy showing off my mod power. That's right. Flex those mod muscles. His favorite character in Smash is Duck Hunt. Duck Hunt. Yeah, I had to, that Michael guy. I had to say it that way just because I know. Yeah, I mean, that's what's gonna happen. But if anything, all his name does is make me want Hearst potato chips. Does that thing split down to? Yeah, it does. No, I don't think it separates. It twists. It twists. I don't think it's built to separate. On a troll hunt. All right. So what do we got? A half an hour left. Yeah, we'll keep going. Actually, no. You know what? I do want to switch gears, if that's all right. Yeah. So we got like half an hour left. I don't think we'll end it I don't think we'll end it soon. We should still probably end at about 5. Are we troll hunters now? Yes. Half an hour left. Yeah. Unfortunately, it's a half an hour left. Have you guys heard about the lawsuit against the Switch? Indigo, is that lawsuit with there was somebody that had like a plug and play system, like a little handheld system, and they're saying that Nintendo stole their design. Didn't they pay? I think they paid them off. I think they settled it out of court. Just goes to show, man. You know what that is, Indigo? So I think it's for driving. Yeah, it's typically for driving games, that Negcon controller. There's this thing where people do where what they do is they patent things. They patent things and they make things. And they do it because when somebody else takes an idea of theirs, they can sue them for patent infringement. I don't know if that's what those people did, but I know that what they claimed to have was nothing important. But Nintendo has so much money. Yeah, they will give them money just to like, okay, just don't make a big stink about it. Yeah, I remember hearing something about a lawsuit with that. I mean, that sort of stuff is everywhere, man. Everybody's looking to sue. The best was that guy who thought he copyrighted the word edge and trying to sue everyone. Well, didn't Trump once try and say that he was trademarking "you're fired"? In which case, if you had to pay him every time you wanted to say you're fired, I would just tell people they no longer work here. I've been enjoying Dragon Quest. Oh, thank you, Lizard. I like those Dragon Quest live streams. It's a fun game for me to play, for me to go back to. Yesterday's was hilarious just because we got lost. Oh my god, so long. We were so lost. Patent trolls. Yeah, that's essentially what they are. They're just patent trolls. They just go around getting patents and stuff so that they can complain when somebody does something. You can do anything. Here's a topic: which series can be game show? Mr. Gaming Guy. That's a whole nother show right there. There's so much of that goes on. I posted something that looked like that earlier. Okay. Yeah, I think the way they stop the patent trolling now is that you have to prove that you're using the patent after a certain amount of time. Like, I think you have to prove that you are creating a product using that patent or something, or that you're providing a service using that patent. I think that there's something that to safeguard now people just doing that for the heck of doing it. I have a repro card of it. Repro card of what? It's of a game that you already own, you mean? That you already own legally and have bought legally? There's certain video game series I can't ramble on. I could ramble on about and ruin it for people. There's a ton of those. That's why they're just kind of out there. So what do we have? 428. I have something that I wanna ask you guys if you want to do. Oh yeah, Dragon Quest 1 and 2. I never really done this, and this is probably not going to last very long. If you guys have any questions, I think why don't we do a Q&A portion? Yeah, shift gears time, and I'm sure Elements. I'm sure there's a crazy controller out there that'll help me switch gears. Well, it is a tactical RPG. But yeah, if you guys have any questions that you would like to ask, at this point I'm kind of curious to see what questions you would have to ask. I mean, yeah, it's Q&A time, so why don't we'll just see how this goes. We get some questions going. How come hot dog buns come in packs of 10 and hot dogs come in packs of 8? That Michael guy, that's because in order for you to buy an equal amount, you then need to buy 4 packs of buns, but 5 packs of hot dogs. That's so you'll buy them in bulk. It's a sales tactic because you don't want to be left. If you've got extra buns, you'll go buy hot dogs, but then you'll have extra hot dogs, so you'll buy extra buns. It's psychological, man. I'm headed to PAX East. What do you think I should buy? Oh, so ever had a fan donate you? I've never had a fan donate me a game. I'm not morally opposed to it. I just never have had it. I've signed a couple of things, but that's about it. As for what you should buy, that's going to be up to you. I really don't know. I'm a retro guy, so I'm always up for buying retro stuff. Is there any game you really want to play, but it's so Mr. Gaming Guy? I've played Panzer Dragoon Saga, so I've played it through that game once because I borrowed it from somebody. I would love to own that game again so I can play through it again. As far as games that I've never played, I mean, for old games, you can, ROM and stuff like that, but, if you have an original copy already. But, like, Little Samson, I've always heard Little Samson was a good game, so I wouldn't mind playing that. I want an original copy of Wild Guns. I do want that. I always blank when Q&As pop up. It's okay. I mean, our streams are so small that I usually get to a bunch of questions anyway if people have them. But I figured, you know what? I would like to insert a Q&A segment into the show. And then eventually, and somebody mentioned this earlier, but using the voice chat on Discord, eventually I will do that and have it so that people can ask a question straight up. And then, or I can just keep them on the line and we can just have a conversation about whatever the topic is. So let's see here. Let's, on the Itchy and Scratchy CD-ROM, is there a way to get out of the dungeon using the wizard's key? I suppose you could just reset. But other than that, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Greg, have you ever played a game with a non-standard controller, a fighting game with a wheel control? No, never have. It seems like a lot of fun. Yeah, I don't think I ever have, other than using like the U-Force controller and stuff like that, which are just weird. How much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck was subjected to EPA regulations? Then he would squeak. Then the woodchuck would need a permit and would probably be held to wood gathering laws relative to his state, which normally dictate that he can only chuck wood that has already fallen off of a tree. I may have to donate something when TMG rolls around. Asomni, you're very welcome to. I would love to try and play something on stream, you know, do like a donator's stream type thing, assuming that I have a system that'll play whatever I'm given. Where would you like to travel to? Elements, Japan. I have been on a Japan kick for days now, and and every once in a while it happens again and again. I would love to go to Japan. What do we call a pair of trousers? Why do we call it a pair of trousers if there's only one? It's sort of like, you know what, Experiment? It's kind of like a relationship, you know, where you ever know those people that are in a relationship and on their own they're just fumbling about, and it's only because they're together that they have a purpose. With those people, sometimes you don't even consider them people on their own. No, they're people on their own. But you call them a pant leg when they're separated. That's what I call them anyway. Do you have Hey You Pikachu? I do not have Hey You Pikachu. I never had an interest. I had, and I'm gonna say it because there really is no other way to say it. I had Seaman for the Dreamcast, and that was just too weird of a game. I think I ended up selling that copy though. How strongly do you prefer playing legitimately versus emulator? Mambo, very much. I very much prefer to play legitimately on original hardware with original controllers, but I acknowledge that I have more time out on the go with my laptop than I do at home with original hardware. Worst video game I ever played. Worst video game I ever played was called Time Commando for PlayStation 1. I think it was also on Saturn. Worst video game I ever played. There was another game called Sentinel Returns that a friend of mine used to say that was the worst because the game, you couldn't figure out what to do. We had the manual and we couldn't figure out what to do. Time Commando had CG cutscenes, had gameplay. We could figure out what to do. It was just all done so bad. I think that, to me, that's one of the worst video games I've ever played. A Ninja Baseball Batman. Will you avoid emulating unless it's just totally impossible? No, I'll emulate out of convenience, but I would always rather own the game. I do worry about, some games are just too expensive. The only time I've ever played Wild Guns on the Super Nintendo is through emulation, but I absolutely want a legit copy of that game. But yeah, I'll do it if I have to. Have you considered joining John for, yeah, I'm not much of a reviewer. I think my problem is that I'm not much of a reviewer, so I'm not good with the structure of how he does it, where I think I'm more suited to when he does it's the spotlights, where he just plays the game and talks about what he's experiencing. I think I'm more suited to that than a structured review. Be cool to get guests on for a few minutes. Yeah, see, I like that. Have you ever used the 3 pebbles? No, I have never used the 3 pebbles, nor have I ever used the 3 seashells. Have you ever watched it? But no, I'm not actually familiar with the 3 pebbles. Have you ever watched Joel's latest video about his latest trip to Japan? No. Who is he on YouTube? Because I watch a couple of YouTubers that talk about Japan. Would you do a marathon about games that you have been donated? I marathon probably not, but I would play. I mean, short of getting 100 games, I would play games that I got donated on stream just to give them a try, see if I can figure out what to do. My only problem with that is that I'm not a huge fan of playing games totally blind, because I don't think you should have to watch somebody fumble about for 10 minutes while they figure out the basic controls. So I would probably practice a little and then only play about 15 minutes of the game and then play it on stream for a couple of hours just so we can see what's going on. I think the biggest problem with that is that I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings if they donate a game that they really love and I just really don't. Days Splatoon 1 poster in the back. Oh, that is Splatoon 1, isn't it? Yeah, that is Splatoon. I had a chance to get the Splatoon 2 poster, but I wasn't there at the right time for it. Elements, I'm actually a really picky eater. I mostly want to go for the atmosphere. I love every time I've seen videos, they talk about how clean it is and how respectful everybody is of that stuff. And, everybody is respectful of where they walk. And it's those simple things that are probably just so commonplace for them that I have such a problem. I hate walking down the street or going to a park and there's just trash because people showed up and just decided they didn't want to take their trash with them. And I used to wonder if that was a video thing where, every time you watch a video, they talk about it and it's just because that's what they're seeing. But I've known people that have gone to Japan and they've all said the same thing, that no, it's exactly like that all the time. You own Seaman? Damn. Yeah, I owned it, but I get rid of it on a daily basis. Dream cosplay. Dream cosplay Guts from Berserk. Love to do that. I unfortunately right now I would be Guts with a gut if I tried to cosplay that, which probably works. Okay, I did hear that correctly. Any thoughts on no thoughts on the Detective Pikachu movie? I think it's a little strange, but I guess whatever works, assuming it works. It's the Leonard Nimoy Dreamcast game with it's such a weird game. Yeah, it's called Seaman is what it's really called. It's like a fish that evolves, but you're supposed to talk to it with the microphone and stuff. It's just a little too strange. Import Hey You Pikachu just to see how it went. It handles UK. That's an interesting point. Experiment. The microphone games, how they handle accents from different places. I wonder that with things like Alexa and Google. I wonder how they handle accents. Have you ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight? No, my parents are still alive. Well, my father is still alive. So I have not danced with the devil in the pale moonlight yet. Fondest memory involving video games with Johnny. Introducing him to a game. I introduced him to a lot of games. So I don't know if I have any fond memories. Like specific ones. I think the memories that stand out the most are when he would play my games and then he would drop them or something, or they would bump, and then my game saves would be gone and I'd lose 20 hours of Final Fantasy IV memory. I think those are probably the ones that stand out the most. In hindsight, I am happy that I got to share all of that stuff with him. I'm happy that I had someone to share that stuff with who took that knowledge and ran with it. So I am happy that it always makes me feel good when I recommend a game or an anime or something and then a few weeks or a month later, I hear, oh man, I watched it. That was amazing. What's your opinion on the Lord himself, Danny DeVito? I like DeVito. I've always found DeVito to be really funny. I don't like this. I don't like It's Always Sunny because I hate shows where everybody's an idiot. But DeVito himself, I think, is awesome. I haven't seen him in an interview in forever, though, so I don't know. Obviously, when I say Danny DeVito, I mean the actor playing the characters that he plays. I don't really know anything about the guy himself. Like I can't remember seeing him in any interviews, so I don't feel like I have a feel for the guy. Even though in interviews they could just be acting too. Time Commander looks interesting. Yeah, I just thought Time Commander was a bad game. Have you ever used MAME before? Yeah, I do. I like using MAME. MAME is a good. I think MAME is a good example of justifiable emulators because you don't have those machines at home and you can't buy physical copies of a lot of these. You know, I can't go out and buy an arcade perfect Alien versus Predator game, so I would have to emulate it. Commentary. Wait, what's up with commentary? I just see the word commentary there. Okay, Johnny learned a lot about games for you. What was your fondest memory of gaming with your? Oh, yeah, flip. No, that's just what somebody asked. I don't know that I have super. I think I was pretty happy the first time he beat Super Metroid. The first time I saw him beat Super Metroid. It wasn't the first time he did it. It was just the first time I saw it. I was pretty happy to see that. It's like, my boy's growing up. Have you seen the original Mobile Suit? I have not. I have not seen the original Mobile Suit Gundam. Looks cool. I've never seen it. All I've ever seen, and I've never watched them all, are like Wing, the stuff where everything was super fancy and the Gundams had like real feather wings and stuff, which I didn't really get. And there's a forest you could film. Oh God, no, Indigo. I do want to go for the architecture. That's Japan. Yeah, I want to go for the architecture. The idea of a perfect Japanese trip to me is Akihabara and walking Kyoto for the temples. That to me sounds like I'm tingling at the idea of it. Well, there's a tour, not a tour, but there's a walk that you can do through. It's like you're supposed to hike through Japan and visit a ton of the temples. If anybody knows the name, I don't know if the walk itself has any name in particular. But yeah, there's some sort of hiking path that you can take, and the idea is to walk and visit. Is it the 88 temples or something? I don't know exactly what it is. The fish with a man face, that game. Yeah, that's the game. I want to do Christus from Final Fantasy VIII. That was my waifu for that game. I loved Christus in that game. Hey, Twix Mix, you were just in time. Somebody asked me about a great trip, and I would love to go to Japan. Twix Mix has been to Japan several times. Fondest memory, I nearly killed him for losing my Final Fantasy IV save. Yeah, I just can't with It's Always Sunny. I don't like shows where all the characters are stupid. I know my neighbor deleted our Incredibles Rise of the Under, and the Underminer is the bad guy in the new movie, or at least it's probably an opening scene. You can take the bullet train too. See, I don't want to take the bullet train. I want to walk. I want to walk Japan. I want to walk in a place that's clean. That's a nice pair. What is that? Hold on, wait. That's a nice pair. And if you're not down with that, we got 2 words for you. Oh boy, I don't know what those 2 words are. Bullet train, marvel of engineering. I haven't played Final Fantasy IV in years. I was playing it a few months ago on stream, and I think I got something else working. So I stopped playing it. You can easily take the bullet train from Kyoto to Tokyo. You know what's funny? Tokyo has never interested me. I've never had an interest in Tokyo. The on the whole, like there's a park. Twix, you can tell me this. It's not Shibuya. Is it Shibu Park, which is right near Tokyo Tower, and you can see the tower. Like, that's more interesting to me than going into the tower. Speaking of Final Fantasy, I learned that Nissan are giving away downloadable codes if you buy their noodle. Oh, that sounds pretty cool. Too bad it's probably getting... Yeah, it's going to get retcon elements. That's going to get retconned in the next Incredibles movie. Never heard of the Underminer till that trailer. Oh, yeah, at the very end of the first movie, the Underminer is what pops up right after Dash's track meet. The Underminer is the one that pops up. Yeah, it's a nice place. Yeah, see, Twix, that's more interesting to me, to be able to see those places. I wouldn't buy anything from Akihabara. Experiment. It's just, for me, it's just going. I'm totally fine just being somewhere. I don't need to buy a memento or anything like that. Especially with cell phones nowadays, I'll take a picture and I've got a memento. You know, I've got my memories until old age takes those. Yeah, it's the last scene in Incredibles 1. Retcon. Tell me how close it is from a Persona 5 location. There's still a lot. Honestly, Twix, I'm probably just... I don't think I'm ever gonna go. Not for a lack of wanting to try. The problem is just that the last time I tried to fly anywhere, I had a massive panic attack, and I had to leave. I didn't even get on the plane. My suitcase went to Florida with my father, and I did not, and I just couldn't do it. That was a long time ago, though. So what I want to do is book a small flight somewhere, you know, maybe an hour or so, and then if I'm able to go, it's great. If I'm not able to go, it's not a huge loss. I've only been on a plane twice. Yeah, I was on a plane once when I was a little kid, and once in 96 was the last time I was on an airplane, and I did okay, but when I came back, I had to take a bus. Maybe you can try flying to LA, resting there, and then going. No, see, a flight to LA is too much of a commitment to me. I would need to, like, I'm just outside the Philadelphia area. I would have to fly to, like, Virginia. Like, it needs to be a small, cheap trip, so that if I can't do it, I don't lose a lot of money, because a flight to LA is probably a few $100. And being in LA has no interest for me anyway. Only been on light aircraft to the Isle of Wight. And you know what? And I won't lie, Twix. The problem is also money, because I know the Japan Rail Pass is 200, and believe me, I've looked this up before. I think last I checked it was like $265 for the 7-day Japan Rail Pass, which is I probably don't even need. Like, me personally, I wouldn't need 7 days. You're gonna take the first day to wear out your jet lag. You're gonna take the last day to relax before you take the long flight home. So I wouldn't even need. And then what I want to do, I would most likely go to Kyoto, and then I would want to walk to the temple. I would want to see the life that's around there on foot. So I wouldn't need a Japan Rail Pass. Not yet, anyway. Yeah, flight to Japan's like 17 hours. Yeah, see, that's... I think ultimately I would end up going to LA and then flying that way. But what's the farthest I've ever traveled? When I was a kid, we went to Florida, and I went to Niagara Falls, to the Canada side of Niagara Falls, but I don't think that that's much further. I think Florida's further than that from here. So I'd say Florida is the farthest I've ever gone. And, excuse me, we took a train. Although this was before I realized I had a problem with flying, but we took a train anyway. I think my father just kind of wanted to do something a little bit different, and that turned out to be a huge mistake. Japan is 14 hours from Atlanta. Sleeping on Asomnia, I can sleep anywhere. I can sleep. I used to put on a movie with my surround sound system and crank it up so that the bass was really loud, and fall hard asleep for 3 hours. I can sleep through anything. And as far as sleeping sitting up, I love sleeping sitting up. So I'm built for that kind of travel, like bus travels and long trips and stuff. I'm built for that kind of travel. Said that was 17 hours. Furthest will be Iceland. Reykjavik. Is it Reykjavik? Please tell me. Come on, experiment. Tell me I'm getting it right. Reykjavik. If not, spell it phonetically because I need to. I need to know how to say that because I've seen that name before. Furthest was Texas. Texas from you're up in the Northeast, aren't you? I think you're up in the colony states. For Reykjavik. Okay, Reykjavik. Yeah, I was close. I've never been able to sleep on a plane or sitting up. Furthest I've traveled with British Columbia. And where are you, Indigo? Are you Ontario? I don't know. I'm just shouting Canadian things that I know. Ontario, Alberta. Furthest was Oklahoma. I've been to Japan, Peru. Well, Twix, your family is from Peru, aren't they? I forgive me if that's wrong. For some reason I thought that they were. Yeah. Or are you hardcore? Or are you Mexican? I don't remember. Like, I hate saying that. Nowadays we're so conditioned, like we're not supposed to ask that stuff. So it feels bad when you do ask that stuff. Yeah, you haven't. Okay, yeah, you haven't been in. See, I knew you were Peruvian. Yeah. Don't give out my location. It's embarrassing. What? The colonies are great. My mother-in-law used to live in Connecticut, and we loved going up there. I love that whole area. That's like, except for the fact that it just constantly seems to snow when the winter comes around. And I love the snow, but I have my limits. Saskatchewan is like the most boring province, and I live there. Condition to not ask what? Oh, condition to not talk about race. Like, you know what I mean? Aqua, it's it's Reykjavik. Yeah, I got it right. Yeah, we're so like, I don't know if it's almost politically incorrect to ask somebody. You see somebody with kind of dark skin. It's like, hey, are you Hispanic? And it's like, oh, well, you're not supposed to care about that. Well, I don't care, but I'm kind of interested. It's interesting. I think that the political correctness is just it scared me out of asking stuff like that. That's why I was like afraid to ask Twix on stream if she was Mexican. I've met her in real life, but I was afraid to ask because some people would think, "Well, why does it matter?" I'm just asking a damn question. Yeah, Elements. That's exactly what it is. Like, I just want to know more. I want to make sure that it sounds interesting. I don't know. Again, that's a whole different can of worms, but. It just sucks that we're so like. In Florida, people will often tell you that without even asking them. Yeah, it's if anything, it's something to be proud of. I have had people ask me if I am. I get people ask me if I'm Hispanic. Yes, that is a broad version of what I am. I actually am Puerto Rican. Hey, other guy with a name that you're trying to get me to say, which is probably just the same person with a different account. I appreciate that you think that I'm so important that you have to keep doing that. Yeah, if you end up, you're gonna make it even more wrong. Kind of reminds me of one of my buddies was learning Chinese, so he would go up to every Asian person and he would speak Chinese. Yeah, come on. It takes a lot to get me bothered. But yeah, I've been asked if I was Puerto Rican, which I am. I am Puerto Rican. I've been asked if I was black. I've been asked if I was Indian. Like Indian, and then people have said Indian when they really meant was Middle Eastern. I've been straight up asked if I was Middle Eastern. Somebody asked me once if I was Italian, because apparently Sicilian is a little bit of a darker tone. And I don't take offense to it. I'm Puerto Rican. I'm probably the least Puerto Rican person you'll ever meet because I don't speak Spanish and half the food is gross to me. But you know what I mean? Like, I don't have a problem with it. I just don't insult me and we're fine. You know how it is though, Aqua. All you need to do is ask the wrong person. You can ask an innocent question to the wrong person, and all of a sudden you're the bad guy. When was this? Spider? Oh, it was in high school. Baffling. Wow, we're at 4:57. I guess we're wrapping it up here. No. By the way, I wanted to go to Puerto Rico now. When I went to Puerto Rico when I was a kid, we only went to my family's, my mother's side of the family, and they had a farm, and they were like the mountains of Puerto Rico. Beautiful. I mean, they had palm trees, coconut palm trees on the hillside. One of my favorite memories is that they were these huge palm trees, and they had these huge sticks. And they would go up, and it was hilarious. They'd take the stick, and they would poke at the coconuts until the coconuts would fall. Then they would run because they didn't want to get hit with a coconut. But everything was on, and I mean like a 40-degree slope. So they would run from the coconut so that they wouldn't get hit, and then they'd be running down the hill to catch the coconuts as they rolled to the bottom. It was hilarious. Probably one of my favorite moments there. People thought I was American. The same as you. Oh, okay. Puerto Rican also. I've been asked if I was Irish, Scottish, Welsh, English, German, or Australian. Wow. Are any one of those correct, experiment? Straight cash, homie. Just ate what? It just... I should vote out eventually. One student touched my hair. I've had that. Twix. I was in high school. There wasn't anything weird about it. It's just I've always had like thick hair, and I had a girl one time that said, "Your hair looks so soft. Can I touch it?" Like, okay. I have to miss Splatfest for the 5th time. Oh, you missing Splatfest? Well, as long as you chose Team Love, I guess that's okay. My dad gets mistaken for Dutch while on holiday now and then just because he speaks Dutch free. Yeah, see, you know what's funny? I don't speak Spanish. We never spoke it in my house, so definitely not enough for me to get. It was the thing that my mom spoke when she didn't want me to understand what was going on, so I never learned the language. And I have a strong urge now to finally learn how to speak Japanese. I think that it would be hilarious that I am Puerto Rican, I don't speak Spanish, but I speak Japanese. To me, that just sounds hilarious. But I also don't have the work ethic, no, determination, dedication. Dedication is probably it. To learn I've tried to learn a language. I would love to play an instrument. I don't have the dedication to do it. I would love to learn a language. I just don't have the dedication to do it. And I know that that's a failing. That is one of my biggest failing is that I have tons of aspiration and very little drive. I had a girl straighten my hair when it was longer. My family gives me hell all the time because my Japanese is way better than my Spanish. I can probably order food in Spanish, and I know when someone's cursing at me. That is pretty much the extent of my Spanish. Yamate. Kawaii desu. Yeah, the only I know a few words here and there in Japanese, and I think so. And then what I'm really interested in with Japanese is the extra additional things. Like, I know arigato, but I don't know what the other stuff is. Like, there's another part to it that makes it more formal. So I don't know. gozaimasu, and then arigato samasu. Like, I don't know exactly what all that stuff is or how you use it, but I think that it's just more formal versions of it. See, arigato gozaimasu, goemasu. See, yeah, I don't know. Domo arigato. Yeah, all I know is domo arigato, Mr. Roboto, and that's there you go. Oh my. Mambo, what does that mean? That is from Fist of North Star, but I don't know what it actually means. Yeah, I don't know what that means, and I want to know what JoJo says right before he punches. If you've ever seen the JoJo, just type in Dora the Explorer JoJo, and it should be a 19-second video that pops up. It's hilarious. I want to know what he says in that video. Gozaimasu is like formal. Yeah. Yeah, that's the way I always heard it, was that it was a more formal version, because there's greetings like that. Oh, it does mean you are already dead. I know I've heard him say that, but I didn't know if that's actually what that meant. That fist thing became a meme. Well, Fist of North Star is actually really awesome, but it's not as great as it. Yeah, I think Fist of North Star isn't as great as we remember it was. I think that's kind of the problem with that. I asked because I wonder how to. There, you know what? On the Wii U, there's actually a Learn Japanese game that was released last year, and I was tempted to buy it. Yeah, pretty sure You're Already Dead has been a meme for ages. The meme itself was already dead, and then it got revived. I'll link something in Discord for you. I always worry about these Learn Japanese for free, because what if they're like trolling me and they're gonna teach me how to say "I want to punch your mother"? You know what I mean? It's like all I'm doing is every time I try to order a pizza, the guy curses at me and leaves. I tried watching Fist of North Star. Yeah, it's a dated, a bad audio and stuff. Thank you for the link, by the way, Squeak. But unfortunately, that we are out of time. We're wrapping it up right now, so I do apologize. I mean, should probably just keep going, but thank you guys for stopping in. It was another what I would consider a successful stream. I'm glad you guys stopped in and we got to chat about nonsense. We got to deal with a troll, which was very strange for us. Like I said, we're kind of on the way up. Will I be doing the Splatfest? I will probably try and do a Splatfest stream, at least one, just to see what happens. I don't know if it'll be right at the beginning of the Splatfest, or you know what I mean? Like, I may just have a few hours, so I may just throw one in there. But thank you guys. I mean, it has been a blast. I absolutely love doing this. We still didn't work out a name for it yet, but I feel like I'm closing in on one. I feel like what I'm gonna end up having to do is just pick one and just say it. I don't know. I like the silver tongue. I like the silver tongue, and then I kind of like the word ramble. So I want to I thought about like the geekly ramble or something. But yeah. So you guys have an amazing night. We'll figure it out. Just if you the usual stuff. If you were interested here, consider following on Twitter. I'm on Twitter at SilverGreg78. That's where I post what I'm going to be playing for that day. I stream Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, 2 to 5 p.m. Eastern. So we'll post on Twitter what we're going to be streaming for then, and then every week here from 3 to 5 Eastern p.m. We'll be doing more IRL stuff, and we'll have a name for this show. But thank you so much for stopping in. Have an amazing night. Have a great weekend. Be safe.